Hello. So I have a question from my cousin. She couldn't be here today, but she wanted to know. It's from a while back.
It's from what?
A long time ago.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
She wanted to know in season 2 when John, just before he died, he asked Dean to kill Sam if Sam became a demon or something. She wanted to know if Jensen. I've seen the show.
What?
Okay. So she wanted to know if Jensen, you knew at that point what this story was going to be for the rest of the season 2, season 3, or if you discovered at that point that Sam was going to
Get written off?
Yes.
No, I did not. They don't. In fact, I usually don't read ahead unless there's something specific that I need to like read ahead for to start training for or whatever. But I generally wait almost until I'm finished filming the episode before I pick up the script for the next episode, which generally starts the next day. And it's just a way for me to keep everything chronological in my head, because sometimes when I read ahead, I start thinking that the stuff that's happening in that script is going to happen in this script, so I start playing that stuff when I really shouldn't.
There are also great moments where, so we alternate assistant directors. One does evens, one does odds. So we'll be filming like day 7 of episode 9, and episode 10's assistant director will go through the breakdown of the shooting schedule. Okay, Jared Jensen, so we're going to be in the studio for 4 days, we're going to be out in Langley for 2 days, we'll be in Fort Langley for 1 day, and we'll be in Coquitlam for another. And Jensen, you know that scene where Dean comes in and it's Ketch and Sam is actually in the room?
Yeah.
And he's doing this. It's like, so unfortunately that has to be on Friday night because of David's availability. And, yeah, but we're going to actually pick up then the next scene where y'all go outside.
Yeah.
So we use the Sugar and Jam Factory that we use sometimes.
For that one scene with
That's it. Yeah. You know it.
Yeah.
And that's what we do on Tuesday.
No, I got it. And that makes more sense because of what that scene has.
Yes. Okay. Cool. That one's on page. And then he'll walk away and.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I know Jared just sitting there going like this. But then I literally let that person walk away and I'll be like, all right, what scene was he talking about?
True story. Okay, so the story, this happened.
I've now started just telling Kevin, I'm like, dude, I haven't read it. He's like, okay, so in the big fight scene where you've got this person and this person, so we're running into some technical. I'm like, Kevin, I don't know what you're talking about.
You also, God love Kevin Barks. You also tell him that every single episode, he comes back the next episode and like, okay, so y'all read the script, you know that this, and you're like, Kevin, we've talked. It's been 14 years. Sorry.
I don't read ahead, it messes me up.
But even, I think, to kind of expound on kind of what he was saying, I don't think when season 2, episode 1 was filmed, that the writers knew where it was going. A lot of times they have a general idea, or they have 5 or 6 general ideas, and they kind of go with the flow and go with what works. And honest to God, they pay attention to y'all guys to some degree. They pay attention to what we have to say and what seems to work. They'll have a great idea about this character that comes in, and they get along with the boys, and it's like a third brother, not Adam or Jerry. And then they'll watch an episode or two and be like, okay, you know what? That's just not working. Or there's a girl that comes in, and I think they wanted to play. I don't think they wanted to play Soulless Sam for so long, but they were like, we dig this, and so they dragged it on. I don't think they wanted to play the Amelia story for so long, short, and they wanted to be longer, but it just didn't. It didn't have what the story is based on.
Yeah.
We need to get back to Sam and Dean. So I think the writers are sort of bobbing and weaving as well. They work their ass off every day, weekdays and weekends, and I'm grateful for that. But they work their ass off because they're paying attention. They don't just write a script and they're like, okay, finish it off. They kind of pay attention. They're like, okay, well, this isn't. Let's massage this away, or let's massage this longer.
At the end of every season, there's generally a big cliffhanger, and I always ask our showrunner. I'll say, okay, how are we picking this up next season? And I've never received an answer that is different from, that's what we have 2.5 months to figure out. And they do. They write themselves this massive cliffhanger, and then they're like, okay, I guess we all got to put our heads together and figure out how to get out of it. So they're doing that right now with the cliffhanger, the massive cliffhanger that you guys will see in a week or two.
Oh, they don't want a cliffhanger. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
If you could give yourselves, from the first day on set of the first season, any advice or tell yourselves anything, what would it be?
Buy Bitcoin.
I knew it was going to be buy something, buy a property.
Amazon, Bitcoin, downtown Austin. I'm just kidding. God. Chuck. I don't know. I'm not trying to avoid the question. It's a great question. But I feel like I kind of feel like everything worked out properly. And everything this must be one of those unicorns where everything works, because we're about to get to 300 and something episodes next year, and you guys are with us, and some are coming along, and some have been here for the ride, and everything in between. So I think a lot of this has worked kind of by accident. I know that Jared, I'm going third person again. I know that I almost lived parallel to Sam for a while, and had some struggles with the business, whether it was the family business or the acting business, and wanted out, like talk to lawyers about getting out without getting sued and stuff, and had my off-screen brother Jensen be like, dude, you got this, we got this, come on, like, so there was a lot, and who knows if life begets art or vice versa. I don't want to make you cry. So I'm here. A lot of things happened. I sort of grew up with Sam, and I'd already been around for a little bit, but I was still a kid. I was 22 or 23, and had a lot to learn. I'd never worked so hard in my life, and I was away from family, and I was kind of denying. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot. They ask you, have y'all done this thing where you ask yourself a question, like if you could see 10 years into the future, would you? I've had this conversation with friends before, and my answer is always no. Like, if I could see a glimpse of 10 years, 20 years in the future, I would say no.
I feel like you're saying a very similar thing to what my response is going to be, which is, if I could talk to my season 1 self, I would say settle in. I would say settle in, not because it's going to be a long ride, but there were a number of years where, he and I have had experience on relatively long-running shows, and we still know that every show gets axed. It's the odds of having a show go this long are, like, I don't even know. It's like winning the lottery. So we knew that this could be fleeting. We also were about to enter into a merge with the networks were merging, and a lot of shows were going to get cut, and we didn't know if we were going to be part of that collateral damage. And so I think for he and I, we were always kind of like, okay, this is where we are now, but let's keep our eyes on the horizon and make sure that we're ready for the next move, whatever that might be. And I never settled into a job because I was either guest starring, I was a reoccurring, I was a regular that didn't have really, maybe it didn't have good ratings, or maybe whatever it was. It was always like, I'd never been on a show longer than a season or two. And so I think if I had the opportunity to tell myself season 1, hey, settle in and enjoy this now. Don't look around and see what's next or what else is out there or what you might be missing out on because this is occupying you right now. Be present now and enjoy this, because this is going to be your next dozen or so years of your life, and you might as well start enjoying it now because it's very enjoyable. So I kind of feel like we missed out on a couple of years of just not being present totally.
Yeah. Being comfortable. I hear this. Something occurred to me in the recent past, and you hear a lot of times life is short, and I think that is a great mindset for a lot of people to live in the moment, appreciate the moment. For me, that gave me anxiety and probably made me do and feel a lot of things that weren't healthy for me. And so I started saying to myself, life is long, and for whatever reason, that's given me this mindset of like, be who you want to be remembered as. It's not about like, hey, hell with this and that because I could die tomorrow. It's like, hey, hopefully you live for a while. Hopefully you have somebody you love. Hopefully you get to a place where you're comfortable. Like, live now the way you want to look back and say you've lived.
Yeah, somebody said people aren't going to remember the things you had planned. They're going to remember the things you've done. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I was wondering.
What is that? What is that? Turn the blender off.
They did. It's the vapors.
Birmingham.
I was wondering of all the sort of main monsters on the show, which of their death scenes did you have the most fun filming?
I'm going to have a lot of fun filming the death of the blender monster in about 15 minutes. That's a great question. Out of all the main monsters on the show, which one did you have the most fun filming the death of? You know what? I hope that's a great smoothie. It's hard to it's hard to completely be objective about it, but I really loved the build-up to and the death of Lilith. It was cool to film it. It was cool to be a part of it. I know it's when I met my wife, and I'm probably biased to me as a skill saw. So I think probably season 4. What is that? A puppet factory? Puppy press?
Do it yourself?
Is it do-it-yourself conference? I'm gonna go with
full belt sander and a skill
I'm
saw
gonna go
going
with
back there.
I'm gonna go with Lilith.
I'm gonna say Alistair. Yeah.
Same
yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Thanks for your question. Who was yours? Did you run away?
Honestly, I'm not too sure.
Oh, come on now!
If you're gonna ask a question, have an answer that you want to hear.
And yell at us.
And that way you can either be disappointed or surprised.
Well, I quite like the death of the Leviathan and stuff, because, yeah.
It's fair enough. I just spittled.
Hi.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Thank you for your question.
Hi Jensen, hi Jared.
Hi.
Hi. I'd just like to know that, do you think that prejudice against mental illness in America has changed?
I hope it has. Hard to say from the outside. I hope so. I feel like in the last 5, 10, 15, I think like, I feel like a lot of problems, or what I foresee as problems, which is obviously very opinionated, I feel like a lot of things have gotten better. We have a long way to go, but I feel like we're finally being out on the table with a lot of problems we have both in America and around the world with prejudice against whether it's race or religion or sex or mental wellness or height or weight difference or hair color. I feel like we're starting to tackle things head on as a people. So fingers crossed, and let's keep on trying to spread the love. Thank you. However, I have a new prejudice against skill saws and puppy factories. He's gonna go Dean Winchester now. I hope your question wasn't for Jensen.
Actually, this is both for you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kim from Hungary for you guys.
Hi.
So,
I just ate, so I'm full now. What I miss? Yeah, I had to fly across the pond to get a semi-rim shot. Rim shot. I hope that's going to mean something here. Get a decent rim shot.
You should have seen the other person.
See, still, that was a half. Yes! 2 rim shots.
Stop saying that.
So I wonder if your character has lived into your everyday life, like had your dreams in your character, or something else, habits, music taste.
I don't. Nothing necessarily, obviously quantifiable. Nothing tangible that I would think of. I feel like I kind of touched on this earlier, where if you're living life like I want to live life, you learn and change from everybody and everything and every experience. If nothing else, than to solidify your current opinions and beliefs. I don't know if I feel something specific about Sam. I might forgive myself.
If I heard the question, I could probably help you.
Yeah, see, this is like
just sidebar. I figured out what's going on. There's another convention going on next door. This is their load-in day, so they're building the stages and all the stuff. So it's a lot of power tools, and apparently it sounds like they're shaping the stages.
We need all of. So when we finish today, we're all going over there, and we're gonna.
You'll have to repeat your question, because...
Okay, I wonder if your character leaked into your everyday life.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Leaked, not licked.
She didn't say licked. She said leaked. No one heard licked but you.
The accents are...
Not to anyone else. Yes. There have been moments where Dean has certainly not licked, but leaked.
Dean leaked on Jensen.
And I leaked back. Nope. Stop it.
Understood.
Thank you. Up on stage, embarrass the heck out of them, singing very loud music. That's
Trying
to make them relax and comfortable that way. Yeah.
Jensen would like to introduce you.
This is Anna. Anos.
Anu. We are horrific. So, as we do,
That's better than Anu's. That's...
Here, have a seat. So we invite the last question up on stage to give a look to their supernatural family and say their question. I know, this is what we get to stare at, a lot of lights. So what is your question?
I have invited.
Well, here, I'll just read it out loud.
Children on shoe. That's not a question.
My question was if your children ever expressed any interest on being or playing a small part in the show, and would you ever let them?
That's a great question. Yours?
Our children? No. No and no. One of the ways that Jared and I bridge the distance between our families a lot is video, FaceTime, video talking with our kids. And a lot of times this happens at work. And a lot of times at work, daddies have blood all over their face. And so when we do these video calls with our kids, sometimes I'll just show half of my face.
One eyeball?
One eye, or not at all. I'll just not show. But every now and again, I'll be like, hey JJ, look at Daddy's fun makeup, and I'll be like, it's just make believe. It's like Halloween, and she has several times expressed how gross it is and how she doesn't want to work where I work. So I'm more than happy to hear that.
That's a great idea. My kids have never expressed a specific interest. Though, well, I'm getting to the entrance part. But they're my oldest son Tom. There's a baby picture of Tom. I don't know what the episode is, but he played a cursed baby that I'm flicking through the files. I think he was young at the time, so it was after March 19, 2012. But I was like, hey, if we're looking through these pictures of babies, can I use my kids in one? It doesn't even look like it now, but it might be fun trivia. And then there was a scene where we were entering into a haunted area of the house. Were you there also, up the stairs with the flashlight? And Tom and Shep and Jen were there. And then I went up with Shep. So there was a scene where we were in a house, and Sam and Dean have their flashlights, and they're kind of going up the stair. And Jen and Tom and Shep were in the house watching it happen, watching Daddy and Uncle Jensen, very slowly Scooby-Doo walk up this stairwell. And then Shep was like, can I see? I was like, okay. And so the camera guys rolled the cameras, and Shep grabbed Uncle Jensen's flashlight, and he and I both peeked up the stairs. He didn't know that we were playing pretend. He thought we were going to go see something scary. And so we're looking up. The problem is that there's this really cute, up the first 4 steps, and then as soon as we turn, the cameras were there, and so Shep's flashlight just went straight to the camera. So all you can see is a white out of a flashlight. So they haven't expressed interest yet, and I would be hesitant again to show them the big glay face Daddy and Uncle Ackles. But we'll see someday. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much.
That was the last question. That was it. That's all goes. That's one good thing for the month. That's it. That's the last one. Tomorrow. Yeah. But for today, don't be upset. UK, you are truly special because you did these guys twice. Ladies and gentlemen, as of Sunday, please say goodbye to Victor Eccles and Jared. Now we have some awkward autograph music to play, boys. This time the band are taking the time. Back on the stage. Oh, all right, everybody. That's it for us. We'll see you later. Thank you very much. See you all tomorrow. They took a long at a time. Then we had to play the song. So we do it this time. This time. Killing time playing this crap while you store for the exits. Everybody, it's time for autographs. It's time for photographs. It's time for all kinds of stuff that is fun and great. Don't forget, get that nose in there and smell the musk. They want you in there. They want that beak in their armpit, trust me. Secondly, you get over here and you pay attention. Wait, not you. You don't get over here. You guys are going to be over there. Just go with me here. Okay. The band is going to be center stage tonight playing a concert. It's called Saturday Night Special. And it's awesome. And Robbie's got, even though he's wearing short sleeves, tricks up those short sleeves.
Well, yeah, we got some special guests. One of the special guests' name rhymes with Pence and Packles. So don't miss it tonight.
Give me another clue.